welcome to Flip the Switch with Allie. You know, we don't really know what's going on around here. There's a little bit of satire, a little bit of real issues and current events and things that are going on. And we are going to get into quite a few different things today. We're going to talk about like dating in 2023 and how great or how not so great it is, depending on how you look at it. And we are also going to talk about fake nursing degrees, Ohio Republicans caught in a scandal, how AI uses Wi-Fi as X-ray vision. What? Like that's crazy. And Arizona police, well, they raided a house over a little boy with a fever. Doesn't make any sense, but we'll look into it. A portal opened up over Switzerland this week. That's unsettling. And of course, we are going to talk about Tyree Nichols. And we are going to save that for last because I believe that it deserves a little bit more attention. And apparently at 6 p.m. today, the body cam footage was released of him and what happened. And I have not watched it because I've been here. But we are going to talk about what happened. And from what I've heard about people that have seen it, like the police chief, I don't think that we need to watch it to understand that it was pretty gruesome. So we will talk about that. But first, let's go ahead and talk about dating in 2023. It's an adventurous time to go dating because we have the internet, and we've had the internet, and now we have online dating, and it's like a normal thing that everybody does. Tinder, Grindr, whatever your selection is, everybody seems to, just go ahead and put themselves out there and see what they can reel in, right? So I recently came across a guy's profile on TikTok who's making a dating advice. And he was saying, ladies, this is one thing that you shouldn't do. And, guys, this is what you should do and that kind of thing. And the things that he said, I was like, I cannot agree with this guy. This is absolutely insane. Like he was saying that, women, I know, society is telling you to be more dominant, but you shouldn't have to be a leader or, be career driven. Guys don't like that. And I'm like, what? Like that just, even though it's his opinion, it just struck a nerve with me. And I thought, who is he to say that? And then I asked one of my friends who is a dating consultant for 4 years, and she said, well, he's not wrong according to Love Science. And I thought, oh my gosh, how could it be wrong? Maybe they got the wrong data. Maybe they skewed their data. How is this? Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. So, I had a couple of questions about that, and we're going to talk about that today. But first, let's go ahead and I'm going to open up the lines right after this this little clip here. So let's go ahead and see what happens when Tinder goes wrong. Hi, I'm Brittany.
Hey, Brittany, I'm Chaz.
Nice to meet you, Chaz.
What kind of woman starts the date with a handshake?
So what brings you out this way?
I don't know, just meeting new people. I'm here to watch the Cavs game.
Oh, I love the Cavs.
What's for guys?
Me and some of my friends go up to the sports bar down the street, and I love watching the Cavs and having a beer. Woo, woo, go Cavs.
Ladies don't drink a beer. They drink a White Claw. Less calories. What do you do for a career?
Actually, I'm very career driven. I just started my own business last year.
What kind of business?
He interrupted me. Oh, I make hair products.
Probably the only feminine thing about her. So how good of a cook are you?
My name's not Martha Stewart, and my business isn't in the kitchen. Well, actually, like I said, do a lot of, work. So, as Stofers, I hope you like Stofers.
I don't like Stofers. It should be home cooked, like Mom used to make. You always dress like that?
What's wrong with what I'm wearing?
Modesty is key. It's kind of provocative.
I like this shirt.
Yeah, so does everybody else.
I paid a lot of money for this, and I'm gonna wear it.
So what's your body count?
What? Yep, he really said that.
It's an honest question. Your body count.
I'm sorry, what does that have to do with anything? Look, I had a nickname or two in college, but it's none of his business.
Women shouldn't need to have that experience. They should instinctively know how to please a man. That's disgusting. That's unbecoming of a lady. Stop.
At that point, I was really nervous. Yeah, I was biting my nails. Waiter, can we get our check, please? I'll pay.
You want to act like a man? You can pay like a man.
I can't do this. I'm so stressed that I'm smoking.
Nope.
Excuse me?
This is not ladylike.
Really? This guy. I'm done. So that's one scenario. And you can find that on our TikTok page as well, because we do save those as TikToks. And we would absolutely love the traffic, a like, a comment, whatever you got. Go ahead and give it to us. We'll post it after the show. So now this also made me think about a recent article that I saw. It was a study that was done at Indiana University. And basically, no sex in the U.S. for a third of the gentlemen that are between the ages of 18 and 24. This study also did, some looking in on adolescents, I think they call them, between 14 and 17. And even they are doing less things than we did when we were younger, I guess you could say, because they were looking at, through the ages. So why is it that people are not interested in doing stuff anymore? Well, according to this here study that they did, there's a couple different things that they think is going on. Of course, there was the pandemic, which, a lot of people were brought together, but it closed that online dating that people like so much. So I want to go ahead and open up the lines right now. I'm going to give you guys the phone number so that you can call in at any point, because this is something that I think that we should talk about, especially if you saw, one side or the other of that TikTok that we made, the skit that you just saw, and you think like, oh my gosh, like I totally see this point of view, or hey, this has happened to me before. Go ahead and give us a call. So the number is 419-971-4102. Call in. Be my guest. Let us know what you think. So according to this study at Indiana University, all of these males are going without having sex. And they're saying that it's kind of like a crisis, because we also are not having enough children in the United States, or we're not replenishing the population, apparently. So sexual frequency is decreasing, and that's including masturbation. So why is it that we don't feel like doing it, or why we just choose not to? Even masturbation? I mean, that's interesting. So I also can't help but think about all of the men recently that are asking, where are all the good girls at? And how come I can't find these girls that are going to want to make me a sandwich and yada, yada. And I mean, personally, I think those women are out working and, taking care of their houses and doing things that they need to do for themselves and their families, because women are more independent these days. And, that's one of the things that apparently men find unattractive. There's some really awesome tips that you can find online just with a simple Google search. And so apparently men do not find intelligence attractive. Some men want their women to know how to cook really well, because they don't think that they should have to. Some women think that men should make more money than them. So where do we come up with all of these different ideas and concepts of what's right and what's wrong? And, what's the answer? Obviously, there's somebody out there for everybody, but what about people who don't want to date anymore? That's what it's looking like. People don't even want to go out on dates. It's almost like the pandemic hit, and then a lot of people were like, I never really liked dating in the first place. I think we're just not going to do that anymore. And maybe that's what happened. So let's see what we have comments over here. Sorry, guys. I don't have my glasses on. So, Joe likes sandwiches. He might like a woman that would make him sandwiches. Perhaps romantic love is dying. Maybe it is. I mean, I'm not really sure. I can say for myself, I really don't care for dating. I'm not bitter about dating. I will date somebody if, I think that there's a chance, I guess. Like, I'm not saying no to love every time, but in general, I just find that I enjoy my own company better. I have a child to take care of, and I kind of take care of things on my own. And I think that a lot of women feel that way as well. So, who's really to say like what's right and what's wrong? But I think that society is taking a definite shift. So Hangry Bird says, save a cowboy, ride a horse. You know what? I do like horseback riding. I think you're onto something there. Yeah, I agree. All right, so in other news, now you all know that I went to nursing school in Florida, and I was also kicked out of nursing school with a 4.0 GPA over a stupid video where I said I held a fucking uterus in my motherfucking hand. I'm living my best life, bitch. Yes, I know it was not professional of me to say, but I have never been in trouble for anything before, and I'm still upset over it. So, yeah, I'm bitter. Anyways, so I was very surprised to see that 3 different schools in Florida have given out 7,600 fake nursing degrees. So they've come up with Operation Nightingale to try to recover all of the people who have received these fake nursing degrees. So one thing that I have to question, because when I was kicked out of nursing school, I decided that I still wanted to see if I could take what's called the NCLEX, and it's the state test for Florida. And you take it, and even if you hadn't necessarily gone to school for it, I think as long as you went through clinicals, you could still get your degree as long as you could prove that you know what you're doing in the NCLEX, as long as you could pass the NCLEX. So I'm not confused if they just, said that they went through the clinical portion of it or what. But 7,600 fake nursing degrees, that's a lot. And apparently they were $15,000 each. You just paid for the nursing degree and they sent it to you in the mail. I don't know. But there's 2,200 fake nurses working today. That's what they believe. Fake nurses, people who have not gone through nursing school. I am guessing that they passed the NCLEX, but not having that experience is deadly. How does this happen? I know that a lot of people say like only in Ohio, but seriously, that's an only in Florida thing. Like I don't even know how that happens. So it's crazy because they all want you to make sure that you're so good and you fit this cookie cutter, and they want you to be really good in school. But then Florida is sitting here giving away nursing degrees for $15,000. How do they not catch the schools that are doing that? So let's see what kind of comments we have here. Corey Wayland, he says, nobody wants to put in the work anymore to reach a true, deep relationship level love. That may be possible. As selfish as it sounds, I am definitely somebody who will say I am selfish about dating, in the sense that I don't want to have to consider somebody else's feelings. Like, I know that sounds bad, but I don't want to have to say, hey, do you mind if I go to the movies with my friends? And, things like that, which is a common courtesy that I would have for a significant other, and I just don't want to do it. So, Hangry says, who else is going to wipe these asses? Am I... I mean, right, exactly. So, there's a lot of people, and these are not, by the way, these are not like CNA programs. These are RN and LPN programs. So these are people that are passing medication. Nursing is already hard enough, and they're being so picky with the people in the schools, and, firing nurses over, like social media posts and things of that nature. And, silly things that don't really, like things that happen all the time, and they're technically against the rules, but they're okay when the hospital needs you to do it. But then when you do it and the hospital's mad at you for something, or they just decide that you don't need to work there anymore, then all of a sudden you're breaking this rule that you've been breaking because they told you to, but now you're in trouble for it, and, you lose your job. That stuff happens. And so it's just really upsetting, especially being somebody that's, previously in the healthcare field, just to hear so much fraud going around when so many people work so hard for it. So Florida's giving out nursing degrees like hotcakes out here. Yes, absolutely. Alex says, I believe that most people are too selfish and lazy to commit entirely to another person. That's a pretty good point. Absolutely. A lot of people just don't want to put the work in. Nurse externs, PCTs. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. The education system needs to stop milking us for money when we are in a public health crisis, nursing shortage. Absolutely. You'd think that they would provide nursing school for people, so that they can attract nurses. Instead, they're just still being so cutthroat about it. I really don't understand. And of course, Joe said sandwiches. That Joe seems like a really wonderful guy. He's got me hungry over here. All right, so what do we have next on the list? Okay, so I actually have a video that kind of explains this. It's about 2 minutes long. It's about an Ohio Republican that was caught in a scandal with the electric companies. And he apparently took he either took or paid, we'll figure out in the video, but $60 million in bribes. It was to him. And the guy is his name is Larry Householder. So let's go to that real quick.
The largest corruption scandal in Ohio history is going on right now. And it is madness. This guy, Larry Householder, seen here trying to blend into his surroundings to hide from the FBI, is accused of taking $60 million in bribes from Ohio's top utility companies. Great to see Ohio making international news again. First Energy and AEP are accused of funneling dark money to Householder. They gave hundreds of thousands of dollars to Householder and Householder's friends, who were all running as Republicans for the Ohio House. Pretty much all the candidates won, and now represent you in the Ohio House. Then they all voted for Householder to become House Speaker. Then the new Speaker Householder and his friends passed a massive nuclear bailout bill that helps all the utility companies that donated to them. The bill also guts renewable energy. Ohio HB 6, Ohio Nuclear Bailout Bill. Look them up. And you are paying for this bill. So anyway, then Householder and 4 of his friends get arrested for this scandal. But we are not done yet. So all this news starts coming out, like how there were dudes wearing wires to help the FBI. And that's when the chaos began. Yes, this is when the chaos began. One of the 4 men arrested with Householder, lobbyist Neil Clark, chose to end his life while wearing a Mike DeWine for Governor t-shirt. It's not really clear what Neil Clark was trying to imply, but people have some guesses. And then Neil Clark releases a tell-all book from beyond the grave. It's on Amazon. You should buy it. So basically, Neil's book rats out a lot of people regarding this scandal. Eventually, Ohio Republicans were like, well, we should probably kick Householder out. Fast forward to this week, the trial has begun. People need to be following this story, not just because it's a massive corruption scandal, but also because of what it did to our state. But also because if Householder somehow wins this case, it will impact the entire country. What's a bribe? And what's just a campaign donation? It's possible Ohio has a problem with corruption. It's possible we have a very significant problem with corruption. We're number one. We're number one.
Yeah. So apparently in Ohio, we are paying a lot for our electricity, and we are, kind of being ran down by this Larry Householder guy. So obviously, I've talked about this a couple times before, but this is exactly what I'm talking about when, you have lobbyists that link up with these political people and they pass laws just to make sure that they can make more money. They're taking more money from middle class families, and this is how, I believe that capitalism is kind of failing us right now. And so, capitalism is working. It's just about who it's working for. And I don't think that it's working for many middle class people, and especially if you own your own small business. And I support small businesses. And I think that there should be laws that actually are there for small businesses and not just tax breaks for these multi-million and billion-dollar companies. But that's just, my opinion, because I care about people, and I think that everybody deserves the opportunity to live a good and happy life and be able to, do things that they want to do with the money that they earn. And I don't think anybody should have to work to live and live to work, especially people with small businesses. That's what America's about. So, that's quite a bit of a scandal that we have on our hands. And, we're going to end up footing the bill. Our taxes do pay these people. And again, term limits, that might help something. So let's go to our next video clip. AI uses Wi-Fi as X-ray vision. Okay, now hear me out, okay? This kind of gave me the creeps because who doesn't have Wi-Fi, right? Check this out.
Here's a frightening development in technology. Some people at Carnegie Mellon were able to use AI to turn Wi-Fi routers into essentially cameras that can see through walls. Apparently the program uses interference that your body causes to track where you are. So now if someone gets access to your Wi-Fi router, they can see you with X-ray vision. Now we got that to worry about.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all. I mean, so if that's what they could do, they can tell where we're at, what we're doing. They know how many pets we have. We are in the future. I mean, Marty McFly, was not that far off, I guess. X-ray vision. So in Arizona, there was a police raid over a little boy with a fever. Now, before we get into this little clip, I just want to say, I believe that you have the right to vaccinate or not vaccinate your child. Before we watch this, I believe that you should have the choice which vaccinations you choose for yourself and your family. As a parent, I feel like every parent should have the right to choose what is best for their child with minimal interference from the government. I understand that, if you're trying to harm your child, that's one thing. And I will say that this child in particular had a fever of 105, as you'll see in the video. But in 105-degree fever is like brain melting. It's really bad. So as much as I understand, the doctor saying take this child to the ER, I'm also going to say that I am in support of the parents making the decision they did when they saw what they did. Let's go ahead and check it out.
A police raid in full assault gear. They barge in with shields up and guns drawn.
Come out with your hands up!
Is it a drug raid? A hunt for a dangerous fugitive? Nope, they're looking for a 2-year-old boy with a fever. We are not kidding. The heavy-handed raid has everyone scratching their heads.
Shocking video of a SWAT team raid.
How did it come to this? It started when the boy's mother, Sarah Beck, took him to the family physician in Chandler, Arizona with a 105-degree fever. The boy has never been vaccinated, and the doctor was concerned that he might have meningitis. So she told the mom to take him to the nearest emergency room. But shortly after leaving the doctor's office, Beck says her son started feeling better.
He's acting normal, and I take his temperature, and his temperature was 102.
She decided not to take him to the ER. That's when the doctor called the Arizona Department of Child Safety and asked officials to check up on the boy. The parents allegedly refused.
As I'm on the phone with the police officer, I took his temperature. It was 100 degrees. There's no reason for me to give up my kid because he has a temperature of 100 degrees.
Nicholas Boca is the mom's attorney. Why let it come to this? Why not just let these people in and let them check on the kids?
It's the middle of the night. The children are sleeping. They've already had a day where they've had to go to the doctor. They wanted to rest.
DCS obtained a court order and called in the police. They took the boy and his 2 sisters away.
That's the type of stuff you see when there's like a hostage shootout, violent criminals, the cartel, not when a child has a fever.
Come out with your hands up!
Okay, so I'm going to reiterate again. a child with meningitis and a fever that high can have some really bad side effects, which is why the doctor told them, especially with the child being unvaccinated and the risk of meningitis, telling them to take the child to the ER was definitely the right thing to do. Personally, I don't care if my child's fever was, any lower. I would have still been at the ER with 105-degree fever. I wouldn't have even taken him to the doctor. I would have taken him straight to the ER. I wouldn't have asked permission, just would have went, because that is a brain melting temperature. That is way too hot. So, I would have done that without question. I would not have left my child, I wouldn't have kept him at home. But these parents have the right to make their own decisions. And their child's fever went down. They might not, like Western medicine or modern medicine. And if so, that's, they did take their child to the doctor. The fever went down. They decided to stay home. However, did you see that? That is absolutely insane. That is not it. Who does that? The police just raided this family's house when all of the children are sleeping, and then they took the children. Now, I don't know what you've heard, but many people have said that DCF is the biggest, sex trafficking or child trafficking, human trafficking ring that there is. Of course, how true is that? How would we even know? But, I've seen cases where it's just like, what the hell? And this is one of them. This is not acceptable. I understand the police coming to check on the child because of the risk of meningitis, or at least the, social workers should have followed up immediately before the kids were even asleep, probably, I get that. But, that would have given the parents the opportunity, if it was before the kids went to sleep, that would have given them the opportunity to be like, hey, actually, we're okay, but it doesn't look like they had the opportunity. And even if they didn't answer, I don't understand why they did that, and why, if the child's not that feverish anymore and the parents explained it to you, why take the children away from the parents? Parenting is like, nobody gives you a book for it. So how are these people supposed to, understand other people want them to parent their children a different way? I don't know. It just seemed like a really crazy situation. I was appalled by it, so I wanted to go ahead and share that with you guys. And so Hangry says cops getting bored. I agree. And by the way, Hangry, I did see that you had to make your little Ohetians be crazy comment. We are called Ohioans, okay? Get it right. And we don't have accents. I said it. Anyways, so we have, Hangry also says meningitis, who is also a healthcare worker. Meningitis isn't a common vaccine to have, but for sure needed to go to ER, pediatric ER, not the community hospital down the street. Yes, I completely agree. So for all that it's worth, like I said, I support parents being able to make their own decisions without that happening. That was just absolutely insane. And I mean, could the child's life be at risk? Yeah, if the parents were, neglectful parents, or, just was like, oh, it's only 105 degrees, but they did take their child to the doctor. So I think that was a big overreach, especially taking the children. But that's, my opinion. I just thought that was crazy. So let's go ahead to our next subject. Now, a portal opened up over Switzerland. Okay. I have a video of this. It is also from TikTok. It's one of my favorite apps. I like to just scroll through. It kind of keeps me up to date on current events. And then I go through and kind of see what else we can discover, how truthful certain things are, and that kind of thing. And this is what I found. So let's go ahead to this clip.
Another portal opened up in Switzerland last night. And it's real because the cars are stopped. Cars are stopping. People are getting out the cars to look at it. But this was last night. This was last night in Switzerland. Look at that. These portals have been opening up everywhere around the world. Oh yeah.
All right. So, as you see, the portal opened up in Switzerland. Now, we all know that in Switzerland, they do have CERN, which is the particle collider that is apparently it creates very small black holes. So, I'd imagine that people are probably not all that happy about seeing a gigantic black hole looking thing over Switzerland. And was it computer animated? Who knows? But, you know, it's out there. I saw it. I thought it was interesting. You make your own decision because I haven't even made up my mind, so I can't make up yours. You know, I don't even have an opinion yet. I just thought, you know, could you imagine just looking outside and seeing like a big ring that looks like it's just going to suck you up into the sky? Like, what would you do? Because I would shit my pants. There's no doubt about that. I would be like, am I going to die? And, you know, that's like the scariest thing because nobody really knows what happens afterwards. Although I'm sure you're aware that there's plenty of children who talk about their past lives. That's very interesting. I like to look into that too every now and then. But let's go ahead and get to our next big topic that I wanted to talk about. The Tyree Nichols death. Now, if you haven't heard, you have to be living under a rock because I'm pretty sure that there's going to be riots in Memphis if there aren't right now. At 6 p.m. today, they released the body cam footage of the police officers who killed Tyree Nichols. Tyree Nichols was beaten by 5 cops. The cops were immediately terminated, and the police chief of their unit, or whatever you call them, group of police buddies, city, she said when she watched the camera footage that it was just absolutely horrendous, and that's why they were immediately terminated without question. Tyree was a skater. He liked to ride a skateboard around and make videos of himself riding a skateboard. He seemed like a really happy guy. You know, I have not had the opportunity to watch. I'm not sure if I do want to watch because it sounds very horrific, and that kind of stuff just it makes me really sad. But the 5 police that were involved, pulled him over. He was pulled over for reckless driving. And apparently he tried to get away from them. And we're not sure why, but I guess there was like 2 different like encounters that they had at the same time with him. I'm not really quite sure. But I did want to just say that this is a really big deal, especially with everything that's been going on since the pandemic. Black people are being killed by the police in way larger numbers or percentiles than white people. And it's not, you can't say at this point that it's just propaganda. It is what it is. And all 5 of these officers were black. The victim was also black. Many people have questions. And I don't even know what to say about it because of how horrendous it sounds. The police chief is also a black woman. And she immediately fired them without question. It just shouldn't be happening. I mean, I'm going to refer to a song, you know, black police showing out for the white cop. Those are lyrics in a song. And I can't help but think that that actually happens. And that, like, that's not what happened here. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The saying is not, don't let one bad apple spoil the bunch. It's the fact that one bad apple does spoil the bunch. I do want to remind you guys that you can call in at any moment if you want to talk about this, and you could leave a comment if you'd like. But if you want to call in and talk about this, I would like to hear what other people have to say. I know that the shop workers in Memphis are buying extra insurance because they're pretty sure that everything is going to go crazy. Tyree's parents did say that they want people to be able to peacefully protest because they think that that's what he would have wanted. And I hope that that is respected for him. However, can you really blame people for being upset? And it's not just the black community that's upset about this. Everybody is upset. Police officers have some of the hardest jobs. I'm not going to deny that. But this is crazy. It's too much. There's too often that they don't have good enough training. They are not equipped to handle many situations. And it's, when are you just going to admit that this has gone too far? Something has to be done. America is going crazy. Let's see what you guys have to say. Alex said, I saw that too. And a satanic ritual taking place at CERN. Oh, that must have been with the black hole. Hangry said the Langoliers. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure what that is. And Alex also said, I don't recommend watching it. It's sickening. Yeah, I'll take your advice. I don't think I'm going to watch that. Yeah, it's just one of the most horrific things that is going on in the world right now. And one other thing that I do want to mention that I noticed this week is apparently there's two Russian warships that are, one is within 26, I think they said, feet or miles, I should say, of Hawaii. And the other one is off in the Atlantic, off of the American coast. And I might get the numbers a little bit wrong, but the according to the laws of war, warships are supposed to be, I think, at least 24 miles away from the shore of an opposing country. And so they're sitting 26 feet off of the shore. And I was talking to my mom about this, and I was like, do you think we're going to go into World War? And she said, how do you even know that that's true? And I was like, Mom, when Fox News and CNN agree on something, it's true. So, I mean, I don't know. I hope we're not going to war anytime soon. But, like, listen, if it comes down to it, I'm just saying, I don't think anybody would step foot on America, not step foot. But, I mean, what's stopping them from, doing something else horrendous? Hopefully that doesn't happen. So Hangry says, it's kind of like that show Manifest. Oh, I do like the show Manifest. Yeah, that must also, like I said, be referring to the black hole over CERN. That is kind of weird. So, let me see what we're at for time today. 39 minutes. All right. So we're going to go ahead and, that's all I really have to talk about today. If anybody else has anything else to say about, love or the crazy things that are going on over CERN, or let's see, police, we have two examples tonight of police just completely abusing their power. And like I said, I do want to be for the police. I know that they have a very tough job, but it's like, too much. Just too many of them take their power too seriously and take advantage of people. So, if you have anything else to say, go ahead, either call in now, leave your comment, or forever hold your peace, because we're about to get out of here. Anything? Doesn't seem that way. Well, y'all happen to be just wonderful and blessed this next week, and we're going to come back next week. We're going to talk about more current events. we're going to go ahead and, keep up with this whole police issue and see what's going with that. And hopefully, my electricity bill doesn't go up too high, knowing how Ohioans are just paying out the butt for our electricity. Yep, y'all have a great week, and see you next one.